I would say my music is perhaps inspired by dance music. Inspired, obviously, it's certainly electronic music. It has its roots in things like house music and maybe UK garage. I really grew up listening to a lot of that. But I'm not a DJ. I can't. I mean, I could try and DJ, but the dance floor would clear. There would be no one on the dance floor. So I'm more of a. I kind of played the piano just because I loved it, and I think my music's really influenced by the two worlds of like playing the piano, being a guy who loves melody and chords and kind of the everything that means, and then I kind of import that into the context of dance music, and yeah. So I would say, I'm not sure people are in love with it. I think maybe a few people like it. My mum says it's good, but she says everything's good. Yeah, I think Disclosure have a very specific sound, and I think I'm not Disclosure. I think I'm kind of related to them through the label, but maybe not in the sound. I don't really do 4/4 music. I usually kind of do two-step stuff, yeah, I think we're kind of blood brothers, but we don't really play at the same shows and stuff. But they're great guys. I love them. I love what they do, and yeah, I think something we share in common is we also write songs. Half of my music is kind of weird, and half of it's kind of pop. And I think they share a similar. I love both. I think it's all the same thing. A remix is very much my music, but you're offered the opportunity to use someone else's work as an instrument. With that, the Church's remix, for example, I hadn't heard the original song. I'd never listened to it. I try and do that when I do remixes. I try and not listen to the original song. It sounds a bit stupid. I just try and get sent the vocal, and then I build my kind of story around that. But I love both. Yeah, I don't try and do too many remixes. I'd rather do them if I can really impact the song or whatever it is in a really positive and like meaningful way. But I don't try and do too many remixes. Yeah, I think everything's just experience. I just try and live my life. I try and learn about life. I try and learn about, things that are important to me, relationships. And I just try and see if I can express myself in an as articulate way as possible. And I think I express myself a lot better through music than I do through talking or by writing or by taking pictures or whatever it might be. And I think it's just something I love doing. Often I fail and I write really bad music, but sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes I make myself feel something, and then I think I'm proud of that. And a lot of my job is really kind of spending a lot of time saying no to things like that's not good enough, or I don't want to do this, or I'm not writing good enough music, or I'm not pushing myself, or I'm not testing myself. And as long as I feel uncomfortable and anxious, then I'm happy. Like I don't want to be complacent, and I don't want to try and write music that people expect me to. And I like kind of pissing people off sometimes and working with songs on writing pop music. And I like doing weirder stuff and pissing off the people who like my pop music. And I just like challenging myself really. So. Loads of things. I mean, I think garage was a funny one because it never really broke out into Europe and things. It's a real, UK garage. It's a real UK sound. I was born in London, and I kind of grew up just listening to pirate radio stations, and I never went out clubbing. I never went out dancing to garage music because I was too young. But I listened to it in my bedroom, and so I was listening to kind of people like MJ Cole, people like Tough Jam, people like Bump and Flex. I don't know if you know any of these names. People like Groove Chronicles, people like that. But yeah, lots of those UK boys. I loved all that. I love all that stuff, and I still think garage has a big reason to exist. I love it. It's one of my favourite genres of music. It's a real privilege. Yeah, I mean, Barcelona is I mean, it's a beautiful city visually, but culturally as well. It's unbelievable, and to have a part of visiting and playing my music to people and seeing them maybe enjoy themselves it's a really profound feeling. Yeah, and yeah, I'm incredibly lucky, but I love it, so I don't take it for granted. You know, yeah, I love everything about like Spain. I love the food. I love the architecture. I love the people. Yeah, it's always such a pleasure to be here. And actually, I suppose this is my first time playing here. I've been here before, but I've never played. So yeah, and for my first show to be at Sónar is, you know, it's amazing. I'm writing an album. Well, just finishing writing my album. It's called You, and the You means you, which is me basically speaking to my ex-girlfriend. It's all about you, not, and that's what the big thing on stage is. And it's just, I suppose, I'm not writing an album that I think is about to change music. I'm writing an album that helps me reflect on my relationship, a failed relationship that I never thought would fail. So it's really, every single piece of music on my album has a very distinct personal, is very drawn from my own experiences. I'm not just kind of writing grooves and trying to play with sounds. Like, I love doing that, but I'm really trying to reflect on things. So yeah. Hey, I'm Tourist, and you're on Eargasm Web.